there we go. Let's watch a speed game. Say hi to YouTube. Yeah, like usually I would commentate something like this either while recording the segment or off stream. But come on, this is like 2.5 hour run, and there's a decent bit of downtime. I don't have enough things to say about it to just do it on my own. So hey, streaming. Maybe we can entertain each other while watching this. Especially this intro. If anyone's watching on YouTube, skip like 7 minutes in because there's gonna be nothing going on. Yeah. When I started this, I was like, maybe someone has done a run on Impossible, because any person on easy, it's a walking simulator, it's boring as shit. God damn it, Swanger Bomb. What drove the segmented? Well, for one, I really like the game. If you haven't played Dead Space, go play it. And I wanted to do a run, but any percent on easy looked really fucking boring. I couldn't be bothered to even watch a single run. And I figured, okay, I'll try to run this on Impossible. But this game is a really pain in the ass to learn, because it's really fucking long and the loot is random, and it's like impossible to figure out what kind of weapons you want to have later on in the run, so you can just fuck yourself over early in the game. Also, is the game really quiet for anyone else? I might have had different recording settings in this first segment. I could up the volume temporarily. But yeah, then I went for segmented because I figured, well, if I'm gonna grind out individual chapters, fairly quiet, yeah, okay. There we go. But yeah, I figured that if I'm gonna grind out segments or chapters, I may as well record it and put together a segmented run while I'm learning the game. It's a mouse. Whoops.
Never heard of a total communications blackout on one of these things.
And I figured, okay, even if it turns out that I don't want to run the game, I'll at least have a segmented run completed, and that's better than nothing. Especially since there was no Impossible run, at least a proper Impossible run completed.
You get us down there and Isaac and I can fix it. 48 hours max.
Like, when I started researching, like, okay, who has done Impossible? I found 2 runs that claimed to be the record. One of which was removed from the leaderboards because there was proof that it was spliced, and I think it actually cheats way more than just splicing. And the other one uses DLC weapons and power node duping and that sort of thing, and I think all that stuff really goes against the point of playing on Impossible. So like, I was in the lucky situation where no one had really worked on this and I got to figure everything out on my own, which is always fun. Did I do anything with the dog shit mouse handling? Yeah. Because some time ago someone did release a mouse fix for Dead Space, which is why I finally got to play this. And I did use the fix in the run. And with the fix, the game is actually completely playable. Would never recommend it without it.
Alright, let's get some extra hands from flight deck to help out.
Hold still, Isaac. I'm syncing up everyone's rig with the ship. Okay, we're done. Clean bill of health for everyone.
Alright, we've still got a job to do. We're moving out.
Very true bending. The UI is still console cancer. I mean, it doesn't have much of an UI besides like the inventory screen. And I like the UI in these situations, except for this thing. This is on fucking impossible, which you unlock by beating the game once. Why does it still give you tutorials? That was a bit frustrating. Especially in the first segment, where there's like a tutorial in every room. God damn it, please. Or mostly it was annoying because, well, the tutorial stops you from moving, and even after you close the tutorial, it takes like 3 seconds before you can actually interact with anything.
Isaac, get over here and hack the...
Oh, hey Laz, what's up? When does the actual run starts? Soon, I hope. This intro is so bad. I mean, the run that uses DLC weapons actually starts the timing once you use this console over here. Because I think the reasoning was something like on consoles, unlocking impossible mode glitches out and you have to like complete the final chapter on a different difficulty to unlock it every time you want to run. It's like, eh. It seems like a bad reason to me, but I agree with the timing logic. I think every RTA run should start from here, just to skip that bullshit intro. But for a segmented run like this, I figured, you know, let's do the complete game. It's not gonna be that big for grind. Yes, it's a segmented run. And hello, Water Temple. Yeah, I did, for the first 9 chapters, each chapter is a segment, and then for the last 3 chapters I split each one in half. Mostly I split each one in half because at that point I was like extremely done with the game. I just wanted to finish it. At least one of them would have been totally fine to do on its own, but I just wanted to speed up the process a bit. Hey Matt.
What the hell was that?
We're just in time. We're about to start the actual game. Finally. After 7.5 minutes.
What was that?
Not sure.
What the hell? I don't know. Something's in the room with us.
Jesus! Open fire! Open fire!
Come on. Got it.
Isaac, get the hell out of there!
The door's unlocked. Run.
That was a really major skip right there. If you, after the first door, if you hug the right side of the wall of the room, you don't stagger when the necromorph jumps in. It saves like half a second. Insane, I know. How long is the run? I actually can't remember the exact time, but it's around 2 hours and 40 minutes. A bit longer than that, I think. Yeah, this is where you really see why the tutorial messages are annoying. Because that tutorial message is pretty much preventing me from getting some of this loot. Or at least making it really hard to get. See? Lost a second picking up the loot. Ooh, my aim is kind of awful. I was aiming way too low. So I actually did some testing on how to kill necromorphs and how the damage works in this game. And at least on Impossible, I didn't test the other difficulties, but on Impossible, the Plasma Cutter does 5 damage per hit, and the necromorph has 100 HP. But when you cut off a leg, it does 30 extra damage, and when you cut off an arm, it does 40 extra damage. And if you manage to shoot them right in the crotch, so the Plasma Cutter hits both legs and the torso at the same time, it does 15 damage, and with 3 shots, you can do 15 plus 15 plus 15, and you can cut off both legs, which is enough to kill the necromorph. So the optimal way to kill them is to aim for the balls.
data board is fried.
What about ash shots?
But there should be
Rarely get a
spare
chance to
maintenance
try
bay.
those.
There's also a broken tram
Unfortunately.
blocking the tunnel that needs to be repaired. Damn it, everything
You're going to
is
get
on
scared
the other
while
side of
running.
this quarantine. We
Yes!
can't reach it from
That's...
here.
I think that's one of the
But you can.
most appealing things about
If I can get to the
doing
bridge,
full
you
game
should
runs
be
of
able to
this.
access the personnel files.
Because even when
You fix
doing
the tram,
individual
and
segments,
I'll help you find the
every
core.
now and then, some fucking necromorph would jump out of somewhere that they're not supposed to jump from, and scare the shit out of me. Like, most of them I know, like, it's fairly scripted how anything happens.
Isaac, be careful.
But sometimes, there's that one fucker who's not supposed to be there.
Dismember them. That should do the job.
By dismembering enemy limbs and doing extra damage.
Thank you, tutorial messages.
Looks like that door is malfunctioning, Isaac. Try using the
I couldn't comment on the second game, I still haven't played it. I'll play it soon. But I'm really looking forward to that.
Your stasis module should be able to help you with that arm mechanism.
Yeah, enemy behind me. I'm giving several fucks. That, I think I was aiming a bit too high that time, because I was at a higher ground. Getting the 3-hit kill is pretty precise.
The tram is blocking the whole system. When you get the computer online,
As you can see.
call the tram
I still
from the
go for it,
control room.
because
Faster
A,
the better. I
it
think
is
something's going
technically
on.
better, and B, who doesn't like shooting them in the groin? It's just a great concept. And that was just shit. I shot an extra time. Ugh, what a scrub. Not that it really matters. Because the room is on a timer at that point.
Tram replacement complete.
Oh, and here's some more extreme speed tech from Dead Space. Look at the ground. And the AI becomes more passive.
Isaac, I've patched into the deck security system.
I hate the
It
fact
took
that it's
some
an
work, but
actual
I've got
thing.
The door to the maintenance bay unlocked. The data board should be somewhere inside.
To be fair, I don't use that much in the later chapters. But if you gotta run past enemies, just don't look at them. You'll be fine.
Isaac, it's Kendra. It looks like the door to the storage room is locked.
This room
There should be
especially,
a
it
key
helps to
somewhere in
look
the
at the
maintenance
ground.
bay.
Otherwise, this guy in front of me would attack me, like, every single time. I think technically it might be possible to just run past all the enemies in this room as well, just by looking at the ground. But it seemed much less consistent to me. Hello. Basically the routes I went for are, what would I use if I was to do a full game run? And then just don't fuck them up. Also because this game doesn't really have any super risky strats that I could even go for.
That's it, Isaac. Take the board back to tram control and slot it into the
And
computer
hey, power
array.
nodes.
That should get the tram system back
Especially
online.
early in the game I was like, okay, I have no fucking clue what I'm gonna upgrade and when I'm gonna upgrade, because I was thinking of the routing one chapter at a time, so I grabbed every single power node I could. If it was at all reasonable to get, I went for it, and it actually paid off. It worked out really nicely in the end. I had just enough. So here, boom! 6 strats! I swear, there's usually 2 necromorphs in that room right behind me. So I just instinctively shoot at the ground. And I'm I'm like 90% sure that they were right behind me that time as well. Just being really quiet. I wasn't just being an idiot stasising the ground. There's a reason for it.
Alright, we're on board and heading to the bridge. Good work.
Strange. The quarantine just lifted.
Whatever was in the flight lounge must have left. That's lucky for us. Isaac, get back to the Kellion and prep it for launch. We'll find out what we can from the bridge and meet you.
Oh yeah, stasis routing was
Wait that
actually
long.
pretty
You're
important
out
in
of
the
your
run.
league, Hammond. This is suicide. We're going to die.
I thought that the stasis packs would be like a super important item in the run, but turns out that there are stasis stations all over the place,
Just get us out of here alive.
and it just works out if I use those for the most part.
Isaac, we made it to the bridge. It's a nightmare up here. No survivors. We're going to try to get to the command.
And this is what I was trying to do before with the stasis. Just like shoot the ground and the enemy gets hit behind me. So fuck this shit. Screen shake, explosions. You can't see shit. Getting out of there is such a pain in the ass. Especially since there's fire, and if you walk into the fire you take damage and get stopped. Fuck that. I had to actually come up with a setup for how to get out of that ship. It's like turn the camera in a specific way and hold a couple of keys. Okay, there's an enemy in the room with me right now,
What the hell is happening down there? What happened
but I'm
to the
gonna go back in there anyway.
It's the only way off the ship.
At this point I'm not in any kind of hurry because I'm supposed to go into the elevator, but the whole thing is on a timer. Like, as soon as this cutscene ends, the elevator is gonna arrive,
access to command computer?
so I can just go back here and loot whatever's in here.
It's no good. There's an executive
And
lockdown of
continue
all
to ignore the enemy
primary
by
systems.
not
Without the
looking at it.
captain's authorization, I can't access them.
Well, where's the captain?
Here he is.
Holy shit, do I have health packs?
Location?
I have like
Red
no
lab
use for the
status.
health packs throughout the run, but
Deceased.
it's money, I guess. Better than nothing.
I can't access that information. Find the captain and you'll find his rig. With
And
his
money was
authorization codes, I can
really
crack this
important
computer
in this
wide
run,
open.
at the end.
Isaac, I'm sending the tram back to your
There are
location.
more than one
Get to the
situation
med
where I
and find that rig as fast as you can.
nearly ran out of money. I say nearly because I still had like 5k and I probably didn't have to spend as much as I did.
Find new weapons and items at the store, and place extra items in the safe.
One down, 11 to go. Look out, it's a splice. So smooth. Nobody noticed that the segment changed. It's a different recording. There's 12 chapters. That was the first one. Okay, this is where I pretty much ditched the plasma cutter. And I'm not selling the large medpack? What the fuck? Interesting. I don't remember my route from the earlier levels. Oh yeah, this is a super high-tech speed tech. I get the Kinesis module tutorial, and I'm not gonna skip it. I won't hit F to pass it. So when I run to this schematic, I get another tutorial, and I have two tutorials overlapping, and I can open this door without the tutorial messages getting in the way. And it saves like 2 seconds.
Gone. 1 minute she was there, and I can't
That's the kind of
believe I lost
exciting
her.
speed tech we get in Dead Space.
We can still do this. Get me the captain's rig codes, and we'll find Nicole.
It's a bit sad.
Looks like the crew barricaded the door to the emergency wing. We have to blow through it to get to the morgue. Get some thermite.
Oh yeah, an
from medical
actual
storage,
strategy in
and
this
the
room.
shrub pad from zero
Trigger the
G
fight,
therapy.
pick up
Should be down
whatever
the
loot
corridor.
is in here,
Communication is useless in all this static.
and I'm gonna place a line gun mine over there where I know an enemy is gonna spawn soon. Oh man, it's so weird seeing myself loot line gun ammo, specifically. Because in the later chapters I switch weapons from... actually, really soon I switch weapons from a line gun to pulse rifle. So just watching myself pick up line gun ammo when I just get used to avoiding it. It's so weird. Yeah, this room is a quarantine fight. So you actually gotta kill everybody to continue. But I do like how it works out with the line gun. Just like... dismember that guy. Throw a mine over here. Some stasis here and there. Splat. That kill is not completely consistent. Sometimes one of them survives, but hey, you can probably deal with one. Okay, trigger this cutscene, go back for some loot. Okay, I lost a couple of decent attempts in the next room by killing myself with a bomb. So I can't stasis that baby, because it also hits the elevator and the elevator moves slowly. So I gotta be careful how I place the bomb, or the mine, because if I land the mine on the elevator, it detonates immediately. And I want that. It's really helpful. It kills the baby instantly.
Alright, that thermite you picked up should be able to melt through the barricade.
And that's how many power nodes do I have at this point? That's like,
I can hold this position.
I want to say the
I can
third or
hear
the
something
fourth.
big moving out there.
Yeah, really don't have to worry about stasis in this chapter. It's just all over the place. Also, the chapter change. Is the audio level still fine? Because chapter 1 was really quiet. At least. I don't know if chapter 2 is. Somewhere down the line, I think the audio volume, audio levels change. Still fine. Excellent. Okay, this was a scary power node to get, because it's kind of out of the way, and there are enemies right next to you. And I wasn't sure if I even needed it, but I decided to take the risk and go for it. I'm so glad I did. Overall, that previous room is probably the hardest part of this chapter.
As you know, Ishimura is able to set its gravity locally. Your grav boots will kick in when you enter a zero-G area.
Your ammo counter will flash red if you can't jump to a surface.
Exiting zero gravity.
Great. You got a shock pad. Combine that with the thermite as a barricade to destroy.
Oh yeah, this section. I'm gonna be so swag, like, open the door, some dodging moves so the enemies won't hit me. And of course that happens. It's like, god damn it. I specifically tried to dodge them. And that happens. Likely that Necromorph right there also tried to dodge and still got hit.
Exiting vacuum.
Yeah. Stasis is pretty fucking good. Oh! Nice, I got a semi-glitch in the run. Because when I started running, I figured there's gotta be like some sort of glitch that makes this game more interesting. Even as any person, like, it's way too long. And the one glitch I ran into was that in elevators like that, if you use the elevator button while you're stepping on the elevator, it sometimes pushes you under the elevator or just completely out of bounds. And it's not useful anywhere. In a few instances it can kill you, and in some instances it gets you stuck. So,
Okay,
good glitch.
should be clear from there to the morgue. Remember, the codes are on the captain's body.
There was, I think, one instance where it seemed like you probably could fall to a lower level if you just flip out of the elevator, but the lower level wouldn't load if you did that, so that doesn't make me very optimistic about my major skips in this game. Here I'm just poking enemies to stun them, just enough so I can walk past them. There really is no point in trying to kill them. It takes too long and wastes ammo. I think... I can't call this a boss fight. Not really. Oh yeah, there's a glitch here. I fucked it up. There you go. If you turn the camera while aiming next to a wall, you can push your gun through the wall and kinesis stuff through the wall. So I pick up the power node early. Hell yeah!
Codes received, and they look good. Thank God. I'll start accessing the captain's records.
Killing enhanced necromorphs without any upgrades.
And I'll contact you there.
It's a bit scary. So I actually had to use stasis and a lot of things. What do you call the bad things? Infectors. Or just bad things.
Somehow one of them found a way down to the captain's nest.
Also right there was an enhanced necromorph to the right of me. But I did the Dead Space speed fake and looked away, so it didn't attack me. Exciting times. So, I think here I made a routing mistake, which is because I was only thinking one chapter at a time, and right now I should be doing some shopping. I should be selling a bunch of stuff, and I should be buying the pulse rifle. There's an unskippable cutscene, and I have time to kill. But I wasn't sure if I wanted to buy the pulse rifle yet, or much later on. And turns out I kind of wanted to have it soon. Mainly I didn't want to buy it too early because while the ammo drops in the game are random, the game prioritizes the weapons you have. So I wasn't gonna use the pulse rifle much yet, so I didn't want the game to give me ammo for it.
Two problems, and we're working on borrowed time here. First, there's no fuel in
Oh
the
well.
engines.
It's not a major mistake.
Centrifuge is offline, which means there's a couple of trillion tons of rock pulling us down. I knew
Like,
you'd
let's
get
see,
that
what do I
centrifuge
buy and
operational.
sell?
Refuel
Oh,
the main
just
engine and fire it up so I can
sell a
stabilize
bit
the
of
ship for
plasma ammo and buy the rifle. Not a long shopping trip either way, so oh well. And instantly the game starts to give me plasma pulse rifle ammo. Am I planning on improving the run at some point? Not anytime soon. If there's like a major glitch discovered, then I'll probably get back to it. But as it is, I think I did alright. Also, I just upgraded the plasma rifle, the pulse rifle a tiny bit, and kinesis. Because there's a trick coming up that requires me to have a bit of kind of kinesis upgrades. You're supposed to hit 2 switches on both sides of this gondola, and you can kind of skip the second one if you have a level 3 kinesis. Normally getting to the second switch would be a huge pain in the ass because there's a ton of enemies over there. But if you just aim somewhere over there where I'm aiming right now, and just throw the kinesis and hope the best. You can skip all that. There we go. And the gondola just does a U-turn before even reaching the other side. One of the most major skips in the game. That's like 45 seconds. Pulled that number out of my ass. One thing I learned about that is that you kind of... I think you want to aim a bit higher than you think the actual switch is. Oh man! Not a perfect stasis. Had to kill one of those enemies. Also there's a bad thing infector in this room, but I'm just gonna ignore it completely. I'm gonna run through that room like 2 more times. I think on the last time I actually get to see it. Hey Pexip. Is this legal? In some countries.
Decontamination sequence activated. Please stand by.
Yeah, unskippable fight. I tried to shoot the enemies through the wall by pushing the gun through and drawing out a line gun mine. But it wouldn't go through, and I took damage. Wasn't good. Also, shooting a line gun mine at things like doors or elevators usually makes the mine detonate immediately, which is what I'm about to do right here. As soon as the enemy spawns, I'm gonna shoot at the wall. From the wall. Door. You know. I can't talk. Also, the chapter changed again. Like, let me know if the audio balance breaks. I'm kind of worried about that. Because I tested it beforehand and it seemed like I need to lower the game volume by quite a bit. A wall that moves. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Aw. The necromorph just wants a hug. I mean, here's another power node that takes like 20 seconds to get, and I was really unsure if I want to get it. And oh my god, what the fuck was that? Ugh, disgusting. I suck at video games. Still seems okay. Excellent. I mean, I'm sure it's fine in a situation like this, but when there's a jump scare and tons of shooting, I don't know if that's gonna still work. So, if there's any point in time where you can't hear me properly, let me know. So this is another part where I needed to have a higher kinesis level, so I can just hit both of these from far away. It actually saves a fair bit of time. Luckily here you don't have to worry about the enemies too much, they just kill themselves, which is nice.
You're doing great, Isaac. Centrifuge and gyros are both 100% and stabilized. Now get out of there and focus on the engine. I don't know how much time we have left.
Oh, except he didn't kill himself. Ooh. And I think this is the first Tentacle fight. On easy you can just throw the line gun mine and insta-kill this thing. On impossible, not so much. Actually, gotta shoot it. Luckily it dies really quickly because I did upgrade my pulse rifle a bit. Makes that a bit faster. I mean, it's already pulling me in the right direction, so it's not that big of a deal, even if I can't kill it in that many shots. Yeah. No, we're not banned. We're watching the completed segmented run. Which I finished it yesterday.
It's Kendra.
I finally pushed through the final segments.
He just disappeared.
Kendra? Where are you?
Nice to see you're alive and well, Hammond. I've barricaded myself in the computer core. I can hear them moving outside, but I don't think they know I'm in here.
Absolutely.
I can
Mind
monitor
control.
everything from here. I hacked the route and found some reports from the colony. Even before they cracked the colonists were experiencing widespread dementia.
Hey, McLovin.
It seems to be related to some artifact they found on the planet. Something called the marker. I'll keep looking.
Oh yeah, the next room is
I've got
great
a
for
location
testing
and I'm
audio
going to lock
balance.
the door to field storage. You can get to the engine chamber from there.
If the door ever opens. What a pleasant sound. Okay, another power node. That takes like 20 seconds, but I really wanted it because I didn't know what I was gonna use them for. And once again, it's like, I couldn't pick it up correctly. Damn it! Minor mistakes. Oh, and I'm aiming down like this while walking on goo, because while the mouse fix makes aiming and playing the game actually fun, it also makes moving on shit really disgustingly difficult. Because the mouse sensitivity just goes through the roof. It's uncontrollable. Okay, I'm gonna trigger this necromorph behind this door, so he dies to the door, and then I'm gonna go get some stasis. There's a stasis pack on the ground that I meant to pick up, but I fucked up and I didn't get it. I really wanted it because I thought that the stasis packs are gonna be valuable, but I fucked up. But fortunately, in the previous chapter, at some point, in some random case, I just happened to pick up a stasis pack and it worked out. Oh yeah, this room. I'm really fucking proud of this fight. There are mine over there to kill these two. I don't even have to kill these first three enemies, but they really get in the way, so I do that. And killing them spawns the pregnant, that's behind the console. Also don't have to kill her, but again, they get in the way, so I just deal with them before starting the fight. But the fight itself, this is so good. I gotta kill 5 necromorphs, it doesn't matter which ones. Just kill 5. Throw a mine over there, and 2 mines over there. Then just turn around, look away, and the fight ends. I mean, some enemies are still alive, but I killed everyone I have to kill. So happy with that strat, because that was one of the most difficult fights in the game to me.
We're online and functional.
And now it's just like, yeah, throw some mines around and don't even look at the enemies.
Bridge, Isaac. I'm gonna take us back into a geostation.
Wait, we're not safe yet. Ship's asteroid defense system is offline.
On the way up, the ship's going to pass through a debris field thrown up from the planet crack. We'll be ripped to pieces unless you restart it.
God damn it! I'll start working on it from here. Isaac, meet
Now
me
there's
at
like
the bridge.
3
You can
enemies
do more
blocking the
good here
path.
than I can.
I just figured, okay, I'm better off killing at least one of them because I cannot walk past them. They block the entire path too well. And that's chapter 3. And 4 is... Right, the one with the meteors.
Kendra's right. The ADS is completely shut. I'll need your help to fix this. Kendra, if you can hear
May as well
me,
pick
see
up...
if you
Oh,
can
actually, I
get the
think I
ship's
just
report.
picked up a stasis pack.
It sounds like you have better access from there.
I was like, yeah,
When are you
stasis
going to
stasis
tell us
packs are
about the
rare,
other
I need to
back
worry
end?
about them.
This
And the game just
marker.
keeps
I
throwing
don't
them
know
at
anything
me.
about that. It's referenced in the captain's records. They brought it up from the planet.
It's on the ship.
Still, like, the main idea
They
with
think
these
it's the
routes
Radiant
and
origin, but I
strats
don't
was
know
that
what the hell it is.
this is stuff that
Really?
can be done in a full game
CDC didn't
full
know
game run.
anything about it.
So I never really
You're
relied
lying.
on having a stasis pack.
I am not
Except
the bad
that
guy
one,
here.
which
I'll
I was
shake
supposed
you
to pick
right
up in
now.
chapter
You're
3,
gonna
but
have to
fucked
trust
up,
that I don't know
and I got in chapter
anything
2
about
instead.
it. We've entered the debris field.
So I think I'm gonna sell the stasis pack in about 2 seconds.
Coming down.
What do I buy? I'd probably buy a ton of pulse rifle ammo. Yep. That wasn't a ton. Man, looking at these early segments is so... It's so different from the later ones. It's like, how much ammo do you buy? Like 100. When later on it's like, how much ammo do you buy? How much can I carry? 500? Yes, please.
Isaac, impact on the
And then you run out of ammo anyway.
I'm reading heavy damage, but containment looks solid. Life support is stabilized. We've got to get the ADS working.
And the worst part about doing this segment was that it opens up with like 2 minutes of cutscenes or something.
Look, I know
Another stasis pack.
I don't know.
You can tell I'm like, what the fuck? This is not supposed to happen.
Plain and simple. This
Maybe it's
mask
because I'm not
is the
full on
asteroid
stasis, so the game wants to give me something to refill it with.
The main power routing is shot. You're gonna have to reroute them manually through at least 3 junction boxes. to
Still,
activate
that was
the primary cannon.
that was a rare case.
You need to activate the atrium elevators from bridge security.
Because
can use
you
them
really
to
don't
use the
get that
junction
many
boxes.
stasis packs from enemies or from containers.
By the way, Isaac,
At least you didn't get
Be
them if
careful.
you were to skip most
I
of them
saw
like
something
I
out there.
did.
I don't know what. I got a
Fucking
glimpse.
logic.
It was big. Really big.
Oh yeah, this is why I upgraded the pulse rifle earlier on.
Things don't die easily.
Because there's gonna be the first brute. And having a upgraded pulse rifle for the brute really helps. So I also did some testing on the brute HP, and they have 400 HP. If you do 100 damage to a leg, the leg is cut off and you do 100 extra damage. So all I really want to do is shoot at the legs. And once I get both the legs, that's 400 damage and it's dead. And I hope you can still hear me. Every chapter I'm worried about the audio balance. I'm gonna keep this up. Or maybe I'm just talking louder than I was when I was testing. I don't know.
This is mutiny. You'll all be tried for mutiny. Kind, make them listen to reason. Settle down, then. Hold him.
Still good. Oh yeah, jump scare. Come on. That's the one.
It looks like some of the gravity plating is malfunctioning. Keep an eye out for any kind of distortion effect coming from the floor. This could be dangerous.
I like how you can just ignore most of these enemies. The babies are just so slow at attacking. This guy, however, he's a bit dangerous. I also didn't see like a good pattern on how he attacks. So I kind of had to improvise on my way back. And most of the time it was scary as shit. I like how that went. Like, throughout the stasis it hits all but one enemy, and that one enemy blocks the path. Like, nope, going the other way. And that's the kind of thing I think can make this an interesting, or not interesting, let's be honest, but a fun run if you do a full game run, because some enemy just decides to be an asshat and block your path out of nowhere. I'm so glad they added these elevators. It really adds to the game.
Isaac, listen up. I've gone over the MedSci reports. These things are biorecombinators. They take dead tissue, absorb it, and mold it into new forms. One iteration seems to have the sole purpose of infecting corpses. The others...
Wait,
well,
I'm
seem to be making
not even sure what
corpses
BB you
infected.
mean.
And that body tissue we keep seeing on the walls is part of it too. I found a report that says it's habitat change.
Oh yeah, here I go out of my way to pick up another power node. I was really on the fence about this one because it just take a while to get. But again, it did pay off in the end. Also, I was considering doing an intentional death here, just by walking into that gravity beam. Mostly because these enemies behave nicely if you do that, but also because I kept walking into it by accident. How long were my segments? For the first part of the game, for the first 9 chapters, it's 1 chapter per segment. So they're like from 9 minutes to 17 minutes. Then the last 3 chapters I split into, so those segments are like less than 10 minutes each. I think the shortest one turned out to be like 3.5 minutes or something. Thank you, consoles. Oh, and this section. Let's see. Yeah, couldn't quite get it. I was hoping to hit stasis hit both of them with stasis. But the pregnant was a bit too far away, so I had to shoot it instead.
Cannon's auto-targeting is down. I think it's a faulty data cable. I need you to aim the cannon manually until I can replace it. Take the elevator to the top of the ship and head for the cannon pit.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I wanted to do long segments was so I could actually like practice each of the chapters properly. And I did get a lot of good practice in. I think I'm pretty good at this game at this point. I don't think I actually want to do a full game run. This jump is actually pretty precise. Like, if you mess this up, you're dead. And you gotta aim right at that corner to even be able to make the jump. I mean, initiate the jump. And if your aim is off in the other direction, then you're just dead because you don't land in cover. Oh man, this fun section. This is what, 2 minutes long of shooting asteroids? Nothing you can do to speed this up. Not exactly difficult when you have proper controls.
The cannon's a mass driver, so it should punch through anything flying at us. Keep an eye on the hull's integrity. Too many of those things get by, and we're dead. I think I've almost got the system repaired. Just buy me a little more time.
Yep. You say this is the best part. I know you're being sarcastic. Just wait until you see like chapter 10. Chapter 10, that's the fun stuff. Like when I got to that point, I began to miss the turret sections.
Just one more minute, and it should be fully operational.
Oh yeah. The strolls in sludge, the unskippable cutscenes, the timed fights. Ah, chapter 10 has it all.
I've almost got this thing fixed. Just a little bit longer.
Doing my best here, sir. Nope, can't seem to hit them anymore. Yeah, there's no point in shooting all the way through.
Is now online and clearing a path to safe orbit. As soon as we're clear, I'll engage the autopilot again. Head to the tram station. I'll meet you there when I'm done.
Still don't like the game. That's your loss, it's a great game. Couldn't get the jump. Ugh. Oh well. I think I still ended up being much farther in this corridor than I expected. Yeah, I don't usually land it that close to the door.
Exiting zero gravity. Exiting vacuum.
Wait! Isaac Hammond.
Oh,
You're not gonna believe this.
I remember the next room.
Oxygen levels are
I remember
falling.
that
Something's poisoning
enhanced
hydrogen
necromorph
production,
and the
whatever
pregnant
it is,
that I was
it's
trying to
filling the deck
stasis.
up with that organic stuff. We're not
They're
gonna
coming
have
back.
any air to breathe soon.
So I didn't kill them and they're still there.
But if I understand these lab reports correctly, I think I
And
can
these
use
are
the
two
poison
enemies
to
that are
destroy it.
wherever the fuck they
Head
want to be.
Tentacle. It should have everything you need.
Will this never end?
Isaac, get to
And
that
that scared the shit out of me.
come up with. I'm heading to hydroponics. If I can slow it down, that might
Fuck
keep
that
it breathing long
necromorph.
enough to fight it.
This is Temple. The bridge is fucked. I don't know what went on in there, but I'm not sticking around in case whatever did it comes back. I'm heading for hydroponics to find Elizabeth.
Like, that was one of the scariest moments of the run for me. Oh yeah, there's probably some enemy in this room. Yeah, chapter 5 is pretty short. No, that was 4. I can't count. Chapter 5 is Oh, well, I'm not wrong. Chapter 5 is pretty short. It's coming up next. I think it's actually the shortest chapter in the game. Like, 5 is really short, and I think... I'm not sure if 11 is short.
Isaac,
11 is kind of short.
air from here. It's spreading
Or at least it feels short, but it has a lot of cutscenes.
But it's not going to buy us much time. We have to get that thing off the ship. The chemicals you need are in the chemistry lab. I'll hack the door for you when you get there.
Yeah, even with these cutscenes at the beginning, 5 is probably the shortest one. Audio's still fine, thank you. Interesting shopping. I didn't buy anything, I just sold a bunch of shit. I really can't remember how this works.
I guess we're not alone here after all. Someone doesn't want you in this part of the ship.
If anyone ever wants to do a full game run based on this, make notes of the buying, selling sections. Because that's a decently big part of the run. Oh, there's the first guardian of the game. The worst enemy. Fuck those guys. Because they have like, I think it's 6 tentacles that you have to shoot. And destroying the tentacles one at a time takes forever. But if you can land a line gun mine, like right on top of them, then the mine detonates immediately and insta-kills them. But it's not as consistent as I would like it to be. There are 12 chapters, and we are in the 5th one. Also, if someone didn't notice, Chapter 5 takes place in the same area of the ship as Chapter 2. Which is one thing I really like about this game, because it makes good use of the levels. It doesn't feel recycled. No yawning.
Allow me to introduce you to humanity's child, the children that will replace us. Our greatest creation.
And this fella right here is the hunter. You can't kill him! Ever tried? Nope. Not interested. Yeah, I'm just really slowly attacking him so he can't walk. Because he's gonna regenerate as soon as I stop killing him. I'm not in any kind of hurry to dismember all of his limbs. This whole room is on a timer at this point. Actually, was that thing right there the hunter? I'm not sure if it was. Either way, I don't think it's ever attacked me in this area. It's just it or some other enemy shows up for a bit.
According
guess.
to lab records, there's an inert
I don't
sample
fucking know.
stored in the ICU. Dr. Mercer was apparently doing
Your
intensive research on it.
persistence surprises me.
I've been
Holding
trying to
on to your
contact him,
final
but all I'm
breath,
getting is
you
static.
cry your way along.
Isaac, you've got to...
Yeah, more cutscenes, and still, this is a short chapter.
Belongs to the children.
I can see there's some
Your
pulse rifle ammo in the background in the other room. I wonder if I try to pick it up. I'm not sure if I can. But I could push the gun through the glass and try to kinesis it. And I know I tried it. I'm not sure if I ever succeeded. Considering I'm not trying, I assume it's not possible. Oh yeah, this room! A fight with an actual strap to it. Stasis this guy. 1, 2, boom. Then another one over there. Reload. 2 enemies die. Another stasis. Then throw out a few more line gun bombs in tactical locations. And everybody dies. Because this room is not on a timer. In this one you actually have to kill all the enemies except for the obvious guy who you can't kill.
I bypassed the lock. Go!
Quite like that strat. Deals with all the enemies pretty fast. Now here's another Guardian. Fuck him. This guy's pretty easy to one-shot with the line gun. You get to get so close to him, and it's easy to aim. Just aim right above his head from that corner, and works pretty much always. Who the hell is this guy behind the glass? Story! Something. He's insane. I don't know.
Accept your part in the God's plan. Embrace your own extinction.
Warning. Life support system failure on medical
Who the
deck.
hell was
Please
that?
evacuate immediately.
Isaac, he's decompressed the entire deck, and I'm being locked out of those systems.
Like I was just happy with considering him as the insane guy. And that's all I really need to know about him.
Don't have much time.
Pretty disappointingly, you can't continue to level without without getting the oxygen back. Because I did do the mistake of forgetting to turn the oxygen back on and just ran through here in a vacuum. Like, oh, whoops! And then at some point there was just some situation where I couldn't continue anymore, and I was really disappointed.
You have to get that compound mix.
I think it was right here when I just couldn't use the poison or compound, whatever. That just wouldn't work. It's like, god damn it! Also, here's a minor mistake that I made. Because at the moment Kendra is talking and I can't skip it. But right after, when Kendra stops talking, the insane guy starts talking, and that is skippable. And I didn't realize it was skippable until now. So I lost like a second and a half, holy shit!
Perhaps now, the war I have done once will continue. I, Dr. Charles Mercer, shall serve as the catalyst to the salvation of our species. These specimens will return to Earth with me. I will spread their divine glory across the entire planet. I will leave you with my creation. Embrace the inevitable.
Yeah, this boss fight, it's kind of okay when you do it for the first time, but then it kind of falls flat on every other try.
Let's just hope that's the last we see of that thing. I've managed to override Mercer's lockdown. There's a secondary tram station nearby, and you can take it to hydroponics. Let's just hope there's enough time.
Okay, chapter 6 was I think one of my favorite in the game, really. The opening is pretty shit with all the cutscenes, but it had a couple of strats, I guess, maybe, kind of. I really wish those elevators were only as long as necessary.
Good to see you in one piece. Don't take your helmet off. The air's rotten.
What's next? I don't know. I mean, there's still an hour and a half left of this wonderful speed game.
Shut itself in food storage. Crew that was on this deck. I think they're what's poisoning the air. They've been transformed. I saw one of them. Bloated, swollen. They're like poison
Yeah, I
factories.
think so too, Commander, but I should confirm, because at least in Chapter 1, there is one elevator that is completely on a timer.
You need to get to cleaner air. You're not going to be able to help Isaac in your
I think it
condition.
might... like the speed of the elevator might vary,
He's right. There's something really big in food
depending
storage.
on how much
But
is
I
left
can't get a good
in a
scan.
cutscene or whatever.
Monitor readings are off the scale. Be careful.
Either way, it would be nice if the elevators were a bit shorter. Like, we're not playing on a console here.
That's the door to food storage.
Oh yeah, lots of
But
shopping
again,
this
we're on the
time.
integrity lockdown. You have to destroy the pods to bring the air quality up. Then you can go through and use the poison on the Leviathan.
I'm gonna buy a few of these. And a power node. That's the only power node I'm gonna buy in this game. A toilet break coming up in the run.
I think he's hiding something about the marker.
Wondering where's the next major cutscenes. I mean, the entire game is basically a toilet break. Okay, so in this room, or in this area, I need to destroy 4 of these guys. And Stasis is my friend as I'm doing it. I have no idea how that missed, but somehow I survived. Okay, and then the other 2 are in the floor above, so don't have to worry about these enemies anymore. Why not use the explosive barrels? In which section? Oh, what you mean those that are on screen 2 seconds ago? I'm not sure where was there some like close by. Either way, hey, here's a strat, by the way. There's one behind the corner over there, so I'm just gonna throw out a couple of line gun mines and skip a fight with 2 infectors in that room. I mean, if there was a barrel in the same room as the enemy, then it might be worth it. It's I don't see it making a huge difference whether you use an explosive barrel or not, because you still have to aim and you need to kinesis and wait for the barrel to get close to you so you can throw it, compared to just shooting like 10 rounds or whatever it takes to kill.
Entering 0
Joke's on you, RDJ, I'm not even playing. Also, if the barrels are like not right next to the enemy I need to kill, then it's not worth it because I have to be aiming down or aiming in order to carry them, and that is really slow. And I'm gonna get killed if I do that. But it's possible that there was a barrel that I just didn't consider. Not gonna claim that this run is perfectly optimized. Like, for the most part, killing these guys really doesn't take long, so it's not a huge deal either way. I mean, technically yes, I could rewind, but I'm not gonna do that right now. I figured I'm just gonna talk over the video for now, and then just ditch it to YouTube. So I'll admit, you may be right, you may be wrong, but ultimately the difference is extremely minor.
Warning. 10 kiloton mass detected in food storage.
Had to take a bit of a safe line running through that room. So I've been attacked by one or more enemies if I just run straight for the door. Oh, another Guardian. I don't think I managed to one-shot this Guardian. It wasn't a perfect kill, but it was good enough. Yeah, not a one-shot. Not even a two-shot. I mean, it's gonna die to the explosions, so... Lost a few seconds having to wait for those explosions, but... I'll take it. That's like... what? Several minutes into the segment anyway. And it's only a few seconds.
Vegetative anomalies detected in the East Grove chamber.
Okay, here's another 4 smoky dudes they have to kill. First one of which you can just snipe from the door. Probably not intended.
Anomaly detected. Quarantine activated.
Hey, it's another brute. Same strat as before, just shoot at the legs and hope he doesn't glitch through the wall too much. Also, he drops a power node, which is helpful. Yeah, instant mine on any enemy would be great, especially later in the game. Oh, there was 2 more of these smoky dudes. But I just killed 1 more to go. One thing I never tested is if I was to upgrade the line gun bomb, like get all the damage upgrades, how effective would it be against later enemies? So I'm not really even trying to shoot this guy because it's pulling me in the right direction anyway. Like, whatever. The one thing that really annoyed me in this game is that late in the game, when most of the enemies are enhanced necromorphs or some other tougher enemies, you can't one-shot them with the line gun mine. So it really ruined a lot of potentially good strats. So this is kind of a sequence break-ish. Like, if you just jump in the correct way through this area, you can skip the enemy spawns. If you never go into the room with this dude, just aim right there and throw a couple of mine gun lines. Throw some mine gun lines in there, and he dies, and no enemies ever spawn.
That's the last one, Isaac. There's a switch in atmosphere control to restart the oxygen recycling. Once the air's clean, you can get into
I'm really bad at the zero-G sections of this game.
Isaac, I've been reading your
So
reports.
figuring that out was
Girl began having
super
mass
nice.
hallucinations. And, well, I just saw my brother on a security monitor. And that's just not possible.
Yeah, the line gun is one of those weapons, or the line gun mine specifically, it's one of those things that I think has potential to be more useful than it is. But it doesn't seem to be broken enough. That's the thing with most of this game. Because this game has what? Zero-G sections, it has kinesis and stasis, and none of that stuff breaks. It really feels like all of that stuff should be broken by default, but it won't fucking break. Also, these guys, keep an eye on them. I think I turn around so you can see them. Boop. Just hit the elevator button and they disappear. Okay. Just gonna upgrade the pulse rifle a bit before the boss fight. You know, just a bit. And that's why I'm glad I picked up every single power node I could. Because that wasted all of them. Plus I had to buy one. But I got all the damage upgrades.
Where are you? Help me.
Flushing all air vents. Restoring nitrogen and oxygen levels.
Overall, this boss fight is... It's one of those things that you could speculate about, like, was the pulse rifle the right weapon to choose? Or would I be better off using something like the contact beam?
Unknown antigen injected into the filtration system.
I think ultimately the pulse rifle is the better choice. Because the contact beam is not going to be useful against anything besides the bosses. Whereas the pulse rifle I can use everywhere, all the time. Yeah, it's too situational that I would ever want to put any points into it. And you can see how quickly this pulse rifle takes care of these tentacles. Like, they don't even get a chance to attack. I think I tested this without all the power upgrades, and I wasn't quite able to kill them before the attack. But with the maxed out rifle, it's so good. It just works. Also, you can't really do stuff like this with the contact beam, where you just take a couple of steps and then shoot a bit more. So it is taking damage even in this situation. I did test, and I think this guy has 400 HP. And it does take damage when it's kind of close, but not completely closed. Which is again why pulse rifle is actually pretty good against it. I think the most important part about this fight was that I was able to kill the Leviathan before he attacked with the tentacles again. Pretty good. wasted a ton of ammo on that guy, but still pretty good. Or is it wasted if I hit most of the shots? I want to say I hit most of the shots. It's difficult to confirm. I think some of them don't count when the mouth is closed, but some of them do. So you know,
It's up to us now.
I'm gonna say it's worth it in any case.
I've located an SOS beacon on the mining deck. If you can get down there and activate it, we might be able to send a distress call. Oh god, I don't know how much longer that target will hold.
And you know, if that was the final boss of the game, I think this would be a pretty decent speedrun. Or a speed game. But since that's the halfway point of the run, it's like, what the fuck, please, no. Because the first half, I think, actually contained a few nice strats. Like with the line gun mines and that sort of thing. But in the second half, the enemies get tougher and I feel like it's less about let's think of a good way to clear this room quickly and more about let's try to figure out a way not to die. I mean, damage increase alone, that is good. But how much is the damage increase? Because it takes a lot of points for damage for you to get the damage increase points. I don't know what I'm talking about. Actually, I know, I just can't put it out in words. But yeah, it takes a lot of power nodes to upgrade all the damage upgrades or something. So it's questionable how much does it matter. Is it good enough? And hey, Nano.
The mining subdeck is offline for some reason, Isaac. I'll see if I can run a bypass.
Yeah, I'm assuming you're thinking of Dead Space 2. I haven't played Dead Space 2, so I can't confirm, but as far as I know, they don't gain anything special in this game. We are at the moment watching the completed run. Oh yeah, in this chapter I actually take a couple of intentional deaths just by jumping into this beam. I think I could have avoided this death if I had one more point in kinesis. I think that rock that I just grabbed moves a bit over time, and by the time you get here, it's a bit too late for you to reach it. So I had to suicide and then grab the rock. It's still much better if I can take all the rocks from two different spots than have to move around to a third one just to grab one. And then I'm gonna do another intentional death soon. Because fuck all these enemies. As soon as I pick up this item, I'll just run out and say hello to this guy. So if I don't do that, all of the enemies that I just didn't kill are gonna follow me to the next room. And that's not gonna be fun. Typically there's like one enemy that follows me here. Like this guy right here. But if I just go into this room without doing the intentional death, then there's like 5 enemies that follow me. And I'm like, no, no, I'm not dealing with that. Is this New Game Plus? No, it is not.
Please recycle any unused materials regularly. Thank you.
So I figured I'm gonna make this as, I don't know, pure as possible. So, new game, impossible difficulty, no DLC weapon, no duping glitches, none of that stuff. By how many health bars? No, that's the default. I have not upgraded health. I will get killed by 2 shots if anybody hits me twice. That was really well phrased. Yeah, sure. What DLC did it have? It had some weapons and suits. Like the one run that existed before this run. That's a full game run. It uses, like, I think it's called a tank suit, which seems to be a level 5 suit, basically, or something along those lines. Well, for comparison, in his run he just tanks a ton of hits in one of the later levels. It takes like probably close to 10 hits in a row from basic enemies. If I take 2 hits, I'm dead. And I just think that goes against the whole point of playing on Impossible. I mean, I feel like the reason why Easy and Impossible are the difficulties that most games are ran on is because there's the biggest gap in how the game plays. So if you're gonna use something like DLC equipment, then you're just narrowing the gap down, and just feels pointless. Like, if you want to play on easy, just play on easy. Don't play on impossible and then turn that into easy. Seems a bit counterintuitive.
But I can help you now. Come with me. The beacon's in a storage room next to you. I think I could disable the lock from here. Hold on.
And in case you haven't noticed, this chapter has been a ton of fun. A really, really long gondola ride that I can't speed up in any way, and then we have this section which I can't really speed up in any way either. Just enemies slowly spawning in the room. The hardest part about this room is that after I kill like 3 enemies over there, there's such a pile of necromorph in there that it's difficult to kill the upcoming enemies. Because I can't see which one is their leg. I'll just shoot somewhere in that mess. And good luck grabbing all that ammo that's in there. Because I do try to get all the pulse rifle ammo that I can get. The only thing that really matters in this room is that you don't want Nicole to take damage. Bullshit, the door is not unlocked. I'm still waiting.
I love you. This will all be over soon.
Isaac. Hey, I lost your signal for a while. You had me worried. I see you've got
I could clean out the corpses, you're right. I just, for whatever reason, chose not to.
Trajectory calculations, and if we launch soon, there's a good chance the asteroid can reach a safe distance to begin transmitting. Still no sign of Hammond. In his state, I can't imagine he's still alive.
maybe a smart move to actually do something about the corpses, but it isn't necessary, and I don't know. Maybe I felt like if I start trying to clean up, then another enemy is gonna spawn, and I'm gonna miss killing it as quickly as possible. But it's one of those things that, does it really matter? Not really. The whole thing's on a timer anyway. Also, that Infector over there. What a bro. Top tier AI. Gotta love him. I don't think stasising that guy's really necessary, but sometimes there's another enhanced necromorph in that area, so I just made it a habit to stasis whatever is in there.
You have to knock those out before you can launch it.
Oh yeah, this room is absolute ass. Because if you just shoot from the elevator with a line gun mine, it doesn't do shit, for whatever reason. So I had to leave it over there, and it did at least something. I could have this nice pile of necromorph. And this room sucks! Because fuck carrying this damn battery thing. Yeah, both of them died in the same explosion. I wasn't expecting that. But hey. Lost a second wondering what happened. Saved 2 seconds not having to shoot the other guy. I think this room is the first one where I really noticed that leapers, the enemies that walk on their arms or hands, they really cheat. Most enemies in this game actually spawn from a vent or something. In some logical way they appear. But the fucking leapers, they just spawn out of thin air. Even if you're right next to them. So one of the high-tech skips of Dead Space. Plant that thing, open the inventory, skip animation. Hell yeah, that's like, what, 5 seconds?
Warning. Payload 8772 is no longer tethered. Untrained personnel should leave the area immediately.
And then we get stuck behind these things. So did the animation skip actually pay off? Probably not. I mean, I avoided taking damage because of it, so that's something. And in the next room it's broken fire hitboxes. Okay, to be fair, in this room the fire hitboxes are not that bad, but chapter 9, I think? Oh god, do the hitboxes break. Sick draw, by the way. Things, you can't do them in uplift auto, unfortunately. I wish you could. Oh my god, look at that 6 speed strats. Oh well. Give me a break, my segments are like 15 minutes long. I'll take a 3-second time loss to not seeing where the battery landed. Oh, that thing. Possibly, yeah. That may be an improvement.
Beacon's on its way. All functions normal and broadcasting
Something to take into consideration
Now
if
we just have to hope
anybody
for
wants to
Weasel's
improve on
again.
this.
I'll position
Won't
the
be me,
receiver.
at least not anytime soon.
I thought I saw my brother again. He waved to me, like nothing was wrong. Okay. I should be able to leave this channel open. What? The comms array receiver isn't responding. Isaac, can you get back to the bridge? We need that array online or we can't receive signals from anyone responding to the beacon.
Yeah, possibly. There's also the factor that there's, I think there are 2 babies and a leaper on the asteroid. So I don't know how they would react if you were to plant it later. You could probably make it work somehow. But hey, we're just about done with this chapter. Finally, it's one of my least favorites. Partially because it's really fucking long, and then this whole adventure with the battery is really annoying. And the playing. Like, nothing about this chapter is fun to me. At least in a speedrun. Luckily, the next chapter is actually pretty fun. And quick. Oh, I will absolutely try Dead Space 2. Oh yeah, I was trying to pick up the power node, because I forgot I picked it up at the beginning of the chapter. Like I said, 16-minute segments, give me a break, dudes. Shit happens. But yeah, I will play Dead Space 2 sometime in the near future. I think I want to play Sniper Elite 4 first, because that was gifted to me. And then I'll do Dead Space 2.
I don't know what it was doing out there.
And when I do play it, I'll probably play on whatever the hardest difficulty is. When I do the blind playthrough.
Get in there and find the comms control station.
And that's some classic Dead Space shopping. Just sell all the junk, buy nothing but pulse rifle ammo. I think this is the point where I realized that leapers take, or that leapers are easier to kill if you aim for the tail, which is a bit odd. But I guess the tail counts as a limb, and if you just take out 2 limbs, then they die. And the tail has less health than the arms, so may as well aim for that. Or try to aim for that. May as well miss also, that's a valid strategy.
Isaac, the door to communications is open. But I've been getting some weird feedback spikes on the
Oh yeah, in Sniper Elite I'm probably doing some custom difficulty thing. I have no idea yet. But in Dead Space 2 it's gonna be the hardest difficulty. Oh yeah, fucking Guardians. one-shotting these guys was kind of difficult. Hello, that's the first divider of the game. He's not gonna do anything. If anyone hasn't played the game, dividers are enemies that once you kill them, they split up into small annoying aliens. And it takes they take a decent beating before that happens. So I'm never gonna kill them. I mean, there's like, what? 5 in total in the game? No, it's more than that. It's definitely more than that. So yeah, only a handful of them in the game. Yep. They give you a special kind of hug.
Communications array offline. A service technician has been notified.
That comms array is in bad shape. We need at least 6 working dishes for a strong enough signal.
At least one of them does, the head section, once it's divided. Okay. In this puzzle I just need to place the working thingies in a circle. And I figured that, you know what, trying to do that while there's 3 enhanced wafers, it's not gonna happen. I'm just gonna kill them before I even try anything else. So my aim is some out of this world. You can tell I really want to shoot the tail. Not the most ideal fight of all time, I will admit. But if I remember correctly, I kind of compensated for that, because the boss fight at the end was better than average. By a decent margin. So even if this fight was a bit sketchy, then overall the chapter went well.
Communications array realigned. Messages can now be received.
That's it. It's working.
Oh yeah, this entire chapter is basically that one room when entering the main bridge, then that fight, and then the boss fight.
This is USM Valor, widecasting on all frequencies to USG Ishimura in response to your SOS. We picked up your escape pod, number 47, and are en route to your position. This message will repeat every 30 seconds until you respond.
What? Isn't that the escape pod Hammond jettisoned? One of those things was on board. No. No, this isn't going to happen. USM Valor. Come in, Valor. My signal isn't strong enough. I'm going to open the blast doors to boost the signal.
This one Necromorph gave me more trouble than he ever should have.
Shit! Isaac, there's something big on the hull of the ship, directly above the...
So I couldn't really stasis him because I would hit the elevator as well, and the elevator would move down slowly. So I had to shoot him, and it was sketchy.
Get to the cannon and blow it out into space.
So pay attention, there's a magical box on the right in a second. The only box in the game that opens on its own. Dude, you gotta enjoy the little things when you're speedrunning Dead Space. Oh, I didn't even show it. Oh man, I'm such an asshole. You could hear it, but you couldn't see it. Hey JT. No, I used to hate this boss fight, but once I figured out the strat, it actually became pretty nice. Because I'm just holding down one of the cannons and tapping with the second one, and only focusing on one of them at a time, except when it's in cover, then I move on to the next one for a second. And that worked out super well. So I thought this fight would not have any kind of stretch to it, it's just spam until you win. But no, it's having some sort of logic behind the approach actually helps a ton. The second cannon does shoot. It shoots very rarely, but it does shoot. Because I had to avoid overheating the cannons. Like, I might actually show overheating in a second. Or maybe not. I don't know.
USM Valor, this is Kendra Daniels on the USG Ishimura. Come
Weavers in.
Do not open the escape pod.
When it's on
USM Valor,
PC.
Kendra Daniels on USG Ishimura. Come in. Do not open the escape
We
pod.
need a PC port of the Wii version.
Respond.
I was holding down left mouse button and I was tapping the right mouse button. And there's the overheat.
Oh my god. It's headed right for us. Isaac, fuck out of there.
Yeah, I was pretty careful with my tapping, because if you do it much faster than what I was doing, you'll get the overheat and you'll be sad.
I wish I could just talk to someone. It's all falling apart here.
Isaac.
Also, there's a power node like right next to me on the wall to the left, and I did not know about this until like yesterday when I was watching some random person play this game. Like, oh, fuck, I missed a power node. Then I realized that yeah, I didn't actually need any more power nodes.
I found some med supply I can patch myself up. Listen, I'm calling aboard on the mission. Fuck the CEC and fuck the chain of command. We have to get the hell out of here. I think I've located a shuttle on the crew deck. Flight log says it needs a new singularity core, but we can probably salvage one from the Valor. I can see the tail end of it sticking out from the side of the Ishimura. I'm headed down there now to find a way inside. I'll meet you there. Hammond out.
Isaac, if what he says is true,
Oh yeah.
you might have a chance of getting through.
I forgot about
Head to the
that
cargo bay
thing.
and see if you can help Hammond. In his condition, he may not last long.
That was one of those things that spooked the fuck out of me when recording the segment. Because I knew that the divider was still in the room, but I wasn't expecting it to be standing right in front of the door. Like, fuck that guy. Good thing I was ready with the stasis. And that was maybe the last fun chapter of the game. I know 9 was bad. 10 was worse. 11 was kind of okay. I would have enjoyed it if it wasn't for the cutscenes. Because it has some of the best strats in the game, I think.
I don't think their presence here is a coincidence.
Not to hype them up, let's be real here. Okay, some stasis upgrades. So upgrading stasis also gives me a refill. Not that I really needed one, but I did count how many stasis uses I need in this chapter, and those upgrades were just enough. Although I think in the end I had one extra, because I made like a last second call to not use one of them. Yeah, the divider splits when you do a lot of damage. You pretty much have to kill it twice.
Entering zero gravity.
Isaac, one of the Valor's weapons ripped open in the crash. Those green
Yeah,
orbs
standing
are
here
highly radioactive,
makes this
and the
room
Valor's
really
ammo
nice.
shield itself.
You can just see all of the green orbs. Just standing like anywhere else in the room and you can't see them. That line gun mine is because there is a leaper in this room, and the leaper is a fucking cheater and sometimes spawns right next to you. I don't think it spawned right next to me this time. Yeah, it's over there in the background. But sometimes it just appears out of nowhere. And that mine would kill it if that was to happen. No, it won't split if left alone. Like in the previous chapter, that one guy who spooked me on my way out of the elevator, I did run past him 3 times in total. Okay. This first guy is scripted. I can't use stasis early, otherwise he just ignores it. And fucks me up. And the second guy gets fucked up. It's so convenient when you have a heavy object at hand and you can just throw it at the Twitcher dude. So he gets pushed away into the gravity field and dies instantly. So fuck this door. Look at this shit. You need to replace the battery, and then the elevator still takes like 20 seconds to open the door. Like, come on. I can't even call this a load screen. Because it happens every time. It's consistently. I assume this is because they really want you to fight the infectors in the room.
I need to speak with you.
But still, the wait is not long enough for the infectors to ever be a problem, so you'll just be standing there in front of the door like an idiot.
There isn't much time.
Nothing you can do about it. It's great. I love this chapter.
You must understand, the forces at work here are greater than you can imagine. If you leave now, you condemn all humanity.
Also, once again, I'm gonna ask about audio stuff, because this is the chapter I used to test my audio.
The church is wrong. This is all
And it's why I lowered the audio so much. Yet, somehow it's apparently been fine. So I can only assume maybe I'm talking louder when streaming. Okay, there was a divider right behind me, but it was being a bit slow, so I could ignore it. Normally I would use stasis to counter him. Hello. Okay, this room is possibly the worst room in the game. Because there's like 20 enemies in here. They just spawn way too quickly for any kind of logical strategy. You can't use line gun mines in any reasonable way, and everything's horrible. The one redeeming thing is that if you're standing where I'm standing, next to this gravity field thing, some of the enemies don't see you, and the babies won't try to attack through it. So it's kind of a safe area. But still, there's so fucking many of these guys. And like a scrub, I took a hit. Yeah, it's an actual safe space. The spawn order is actually set so you can kind of prepare for it. But still, there are so fucking many enemies in there that it's difficult to do anything really logical. So there's still one more Twitcher, and after this I'm probably gonna move forward. Yep. I actually got really lucky in that fight, because the exploders in the back here killed some of the other enemies as well. And that saved... it saved an amount of time. Fuck this door. You have to stand next to this door for it to open, so you can't even go grab some loot while it's opening. And this is fucking bullshit. Because the fire hitbox in this room is so broken. It's like... you gotta play it so careful here, just to avoid the flames. Luckily the cycles work out so that I don't have to make it look like super stupid. Like walking on those boxes was super stupid.
Is that it? You got it? Oh my god.
It's still frustrating having to deal with that shit.
That's the piece we need. Get to the crew deck.
Okay. So the boss of this chapter is this enhanced brute. I think I attempted to shoot the shoulders so that it would take cover. And when it takes cover, it's easy to shoot the legs. I don't remember how this worked out. I'm gonna say pretty well, considering it ended up in the run. Yep, it's taking cover. Go to quick stasis, and after that it's spam away. Easy kill. Maybe you could save a bit of time if you figured out some way to kill it on the other side of the room, but you know, such details, who gives a shit? Oh yeah, sometimes in this corridor, right after I exit the previous room, there's some dude just standing around in the middle of the explosions. I don't know what causes him to be there. I guess it has something to do with dying in the brute fight, because I never got it in a good attempt. I only got it after I had died. But who knows? It didn't happen often enough for me to say. Just looked strange.
Exiting zero gravity.
Also, it spooked the fuck out of me. At least on the first time I saw it. Yeah, I could have used stasis on that final guy over there, but I chose to shoot it because I wasn't sure which one is going to be more valuable in the next map, ammo or stasis. And I figured that if I shoot it, I might get more ammo as a drop, and I did. And it didn't matter because in the next chapter I'm gonna refill stasis anyway. So none of it mattered in any way. And yeah, I am pretty spooky.
Isaac, I've located the shuttle hammock.
Fuck this chapter.
Shit.
Probably the worst chapter in the game. I hope I haven't said that about any other chapter.
God knows why. There's 3 of them scattered around the deck. I'm downloading their locations.
So proper Dead Space shopping again.
Here, so you'll need a crew key. If you can find those parts, I think we can get that shuttle operational again.
Oh, and here I realized a minor time save. The weapon that is highlighted when you use the bench is the weapon that you have in your hand. Which is why I couldn't reload any other weapons or adjust the alt fire of the plasma cutter like I wanted to. And that is completely meaningless. But after you do this section like 50 times... Oh yeah, motion sickness warning, I guess.
And now she awaits her transformation, her rebirth.
Yeah.
Are you ready to ascend the Tentacle?
You start to optimize really stupid shit when you do the segment way too many times.
You will play your part soon enough.
And that was me demonstrating how bad the camera controls are when you're standing on shit and have the mouse fix enabled. Like, everywhere else is fine, but standing on shit goes fucking nuts. Yeah, rest in peace, Temple. I had been stuck on this segment for like a few hours, I guess. Until I realized that, oh yeah, Temple. That name has appeared elsewhere in the game. Cool. Nice lore, Dead Space. Yeah. One of the reasons why I really dislike this chapter is that the opening of the chapter is that cutscene that takes forever, and before and after that cutscene you have all these sections where you're just standing on shit. That was actually kind of lucky. Usually I use 2 stasis on those guys, or well, 1 for each. But one of them was behaving so nicely that I could just use ammo instead.
Mr. Clark, I really must speak with you. I'm very close to your position, and I know you want to hear what I have to say. I can explain all this. So what happened? When you have the nav cards, I'll let you into the security station. You must talk. Hurry.
Here's a rare case of a nice Guardian, who is super easy to kill with an insta-kill. Yeah, we got a bit of ammo in there. Like what? 700? Something like that.
The life support system in Sleep Block B has been shut down. You'll have to find an override nearby to get through the door.
Yeah, for some reason the aim in this tentacle section is like all the way at the left side of the screen, and it takes forever to drag it back across. Also, I spent a needless amount of time trying to grab that switch through the wall, but I don't think it's loaded if you try to do it from this room. Because technically, I think it would be possible if the switch was loaded. Hey, compiler. Also, have I mentioned the stasis is pretty fucking useful.
Exiting vacuum.
I actually don't know why that room is so bright. Somehow I never really questioned it. Or we can blame Fulbright. Oh yeah, we've been talking about the divider parts. There's a few divider parts right there. I know. The Thing was such a good game too. Still waiting for someone to run The Thing. I wrote it like half the game. It's right there. Somebody, please run it. It's almost a good speed game. It's honestly probably a better speed game than Dead Space.
Exiting zero gravity.
It is out of bounds and it has cutscene or stuff. I don't even know what else it has. And I think I accidentally left that thing alive. Not that it mattered. What do you mean it might not be a turbo gun? Also, this is the first segment that I'm splitting in two. That was a splice right there. But I edited it so well that you can't even tell.
What's happening on the colony is not a tragedy.
But the thing, the game, is actually a pretty good game. I enjoyed that game. Aside from maybe the plot. The plot was funny fanfiction. But the gameplay was solid enough.
This time, there will be no escape for you.
Well, the blood test, yeah, okay, I can't defend the blood test thing. That was dumb. I mean, the point of the blood test. Also, the hunter is coming up. So there's that thing, but fuck this whole area. I think it's a better game than this area is. Once you figured out that, okay, the only reason to ever use a blood test is to show other people that you're not the thing, then it was fine. But if you ever wasted a test on another person, then yeah, you fucked up, and it shouldn't be a fuck up. That was just poor game design. But yeah, this whole room is not a timer, it's a minute and a half, so it really doesn't matter what you do. But it's typically nice to kill enemies so they don't kill you. Fun times! Yeah, I won't argue that the thing could have done some things better. But I still think it was a good game. Like, considering it's a licensed game, it's one of the better ones. The whole teammate gimmick was it had some good ideas. The execution wasn't great, but it was interesting enough for what it was trying to be. What games do you think like the Hunter in this game? I haven't played RE3, so I can't say. But I was under the impression that Nemesis was more of a thing than this guy. I mean, this guy only shows up in 2 chapters, and he appears in like what, 5 rooms in total in those chapters. Did I upgrade anything in the run? Yes, I have so far upgraded Kinesis with 2 points out of 3. I have mostly maxed out the Pulse Rifle, and I have a few points in Stasis. So look at this 6 strat, taking a health pack through the wall.
You've made it! Oh, thank God you made it. I've been following your progress. I know you want to repair the executive shuttle and leave this place, but escape is impossible at this point. The shuttle shock point drive is destroyed. No. Don't lose hope. Don't lose hope.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I can't really think of games like that.
I tried to scuttle the ship, sabotage the systems.
With one enemy just... Oh, well... At least if we're sticking with horror games, then... I mean, Prince of Persia Warrior Within has the Dahaka. Does that count? I mean, you can't really fight the Dahaka at any point. Except right at the end. Outlast? Never played that either, so I can't say.
Mercer calls it the hive mind. It's the source, controlling the necromorphs telepathically. We were so stupid.
Yeah, I figured something that you can kind of fight, but not kill.
She knew it could be stopped by returning the marker to the planet. The marker was containing it within the planet. Return the marker and seal the hive mind.
It's a cool concept in this game. And while I just said that it only appears a couple of times in the game, I think that's a good thing. It's like it lets you think that you killed it in chapter 5, and then it shows up again in chapter 10.
You can help me. If you repair the shuttle and bring the marker back on board,
It works out well. Whereas if it was like in every chapter, then it would definitely overstay its welcome. This room is kind of scary because this door right here sometimes takes like 5 seconds to open, and sometimes it opens up immediately. And if it opens immediately, then great, you win. But if it's stuck for 5 seconds, then you're probably gonna get killed. And fuck this fight, by the way. Fuck everything about this chapter. I keep repeating myself, but fuck this chapter. Like, after you test fire the engine for the first time, the Hunter takes maybe some time to appear, and maybe it appears right away. And how fast it follows you is also a bit random, and how many enemies spawn while it's following you is random. This is like the ideal situation, which is like... Nice dodge, dude. Which is like, I don't know, 1 in 3, I guess. Where it just follows you, nobody else spawns, and you get to kill it and be happy. And no need to kill anybody. Except I'm still paranoid because I saw 1 enemy spawn. Once you actually kill the Hunter, the other enemies are supposed to like go into a vent and despawn, and that's it. But I had 1 attempt where everything went fine, and then suddenly at this point an enemy attacked me from behind. I had a medpack so I could survive and I could keep fighting. I killed that enemy and another one spawned. And then like I was stuck in this room with 4 enemies after the fight was supposed to be over. So I get a bit paranoid about that.
Hurry! I'll take the shuttle up to the flight deck where the marker's being held.
But ideally, the fight goes like this and I don't have to fire a single bullet. Isn't the plasma getter worth upgrading? I decided against it. Like, I could be wrong, but I'm gonna say it's not worth it. If you want to make it your main weapon, then maybe, but it's a difficult call with weapons. I decided to go for the pulse rifle in this run, but it's really impossible at this point to say if that was the right call.
No need to be frightened. No reason to fight. Many have gone before us, and now it's time for us to take the ways to
maybe it would have been optimal to, instead of using the pulse rifle, to go for plasma cutter and contact beam. Like, upgrade both of those at least a bit. Maybe that's a really good combination. So you would have one weapon for bosses and one for most encounters. But I decided that I'm only gonna focus on one weapon that can do both. But hey, that's chapter 10 done. Woohoo! We get to an actual fun-ish chapter. Yeah. Alright, see you, Swangerbond.
Mr. Clark, I'm approaching the shuttle hangar. You must find your way to the cargo.
I think this is more classic Dead Space buying shit. Oh wow, I'm actually not selling everything. I don't have much money to buy a ton of shit, so wasn't classic Dead Space shopping. Oh wow, that's nice. It seems to be random whether or not you get staggered when that exploder jumps up. I feel like most of the time I got staggered, but hey, sometimes you get lucky. This room. This is a room that I'm really proud of. Because you're supposed to carry the marker on these railings to the other side of the room. And there's a ton of enemies attacking you while you do that. But I think I figured it out. I think I have a good strat for Impossible. Most other runs, like at least all the runs on Easy and the Impossible run that uses DLC, just grab the marker and drag it along and tank all the hits. And it looks bad. But I think this is a good strat. No, I don't think suit upgrades are worth it, in any case. This strat, I'm really fucking happy with this strat. It's much more peaceful than the tank 20 hits while walking strat. Just takes a bit of stasis, but it works. It's scary as fuck to do, but it seems to work more often than not. At least if you are willing to use a bit more stasis than I did. Runs anytime soon. The original plan was that I will learn the game while doing the segmented run, and I'll also see if I even want to run it. And after the second half of the game, I don't think I want to run this. So I don't think I'll be doing any full game runs.
Wish me luck.
So like the first half of the game, that was pretty nice. But then it just goes on for another hour and 20 minutes. And the the chapters are less fun than the first chapters. The strats that I used on this run, I think are single segment viable. Like that was part of the standards that I had. Like I'm using strats that I would use in a full game run. So like this fight is actually totally viable and kind of fun. Throw out some mines and things die. Unfortunately, second half of the fight there are so many enemies spawning at once that I don't really have a chance to throw out any more mines and do any of that fun stuff. But I got to do like 3 kills with line gun mines. And line gun mine kills are always fun. Also the kill order in that room is actually kind of important. Because that final enemy that I killed spawns after you kill certain other enemies. So, for instance, the second enhanced necromorph that was close to the door, I intentionally let him live longer than some of the other enemies. Yeah, that's a surprisingly fun fight. And this section, however, is not surprisingly fun. It's actually kind of ass. Because fuck leapers. Yeah, one baby is still alive. I couldn't see it immediately, so fuck it. Most enemies don't one-shot me, even with level 1 rig. I think a lot of enemies will 2-shot me, or take me down to really low HP where I start walking slower. But most enemies won't one-shot me. I think, for instance, the Hunter in the previous chapter would one-shot me, I'm pretty sure. But like, an enhanced necromorph probably does like 80% of my health. Yeah. This section is pretty frustrating because there's a leaper right there that blocks the way, so I can't move this, so I just kind of had to keep going and hope that the leaper moves out of the way. And luckily he did, without wasting too much time. Oh yeah, regarding damage, I think something like a hit from one of those babies. I can probably take... I can survive 2 of them, I think.
It's on board. Please come and
Hard to
join
tell.
me. Together we can stop this hive mind. We can end this nightmare at last.
I don't think I ever really took that much damage. Or usually if I did end up taking that much damage, I would reset anyway. Whoops. I don't know why I shot. Misclick, I guess. I just wanted to pick up some loot while I'm waiting.
Sorry, Isaac. I couldn't let him go through with it.
Like this is some Easter egg, I don't know.
Marker. We even managed without help from
At this point I'm just killing time because...
Thank you for helping me find him, by the way.
Well,
The department's been looking for this place for a
long
time.
cutscenes.
See what Kind didn't know was? It was the government's mess to begin with. This whole planet is one big experiment. The marker? This divine relic? Made by man. They reverse engineered it a couple of 100 years ago from the real marker. A true alien artifact recovered on Earth. studied it, and they made it their own. Then they brought it to
Is it worth trading A? I didn't even check that. Holy shit.
Stuff of nightmares.
Good thing it wasn't useful.
They sealed the system, and no one would have been the wiser.
Or a good thing that money wasn't an issue at this point anymore. Because I just threw it away.
The experiment was still alive. Kine was right about the hive mind.
I mean, I still do shopping in the final chapter, but
I have the marker.
money doesn't matter anymore. Okay. Would have been nice if that thing appeared earlier in the game, back when I actually, you know, had a use for money.
Or maybe not.
Isaac, Nicole, I need you to help me. Help us now. I'm in the flight control room.
Yeah, 3 notes would have been fine. I would have taken 3 notes.
Please.
At least like early in the game. At this point it doesn't matter. Also, this fucking guardian on the wall. Fuck it. It's like... no matter how much I tried, oh shit! Never mind! I was like... I was just about to say how fucking annoying this specific guardian was, because I just could not figure out how to kill it in one hit, and then I apparently got the kill in one hit.
I'm so sorry.
God damn, what a god gamer.
I never wanted to hurt you. You need to get it back now, Isaac. You can pilot the shuttle remotely from here. Make us whole again. Make us whole again.
I know, Brandini. I mean, I haven't even played 2 yet. That's coming soon.
Isaac, what the hell are you doing?
Would I play classic games like Thief Gold and Thief 2? I tried to play Thief 2, like, I don't know, a year or 2 ago on stream, and I really did not enjoy it. It's like, it's just not my kind of game. I just don't enjoy stealth at all.
None of us can.
Which I know is somehow really ironic coming from a Hitman speedrunner.
I'll reprogram the shuttle so we can fly down to the colony. We're so close, Isaac.
I just don't like stealth games.
Now go. Get on the shuttle.
I would like to like them, but I just don't. What is this impossible run? It is actually impossible. The game is gonna crash before I finish. Yeah. Like I've said probably several times during this run, I can't say how good I think Dead Space 2 is, but I'm gonna play it soon. I'm really looking forward to it. So I've heard good things. Not sure if I'm gonna play Dead Space 3 because I don't have it and I haven't heard good things. Oh yeah, this is some great AI. Fucking leapers.
You're doing the right thing, Isaac.
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed playing Dead Space 1 blind.
The way it always should have been. I knew you'd come back for me.
And somehow I was able to do that even like 10 years after the game came out. I couldn't do it sooner because the mouse fix wasn't out. But I'm glad I waited for the mouse fix. It made the game so much better. What a smooth transition right there. You could barely tell I switched chapters. It's a bit disappointing how in every other chapter of the game they really tried to make it seamless. But here it's just... Here you go. You start here. Enjoy. Extraction, is that the Wii game that I'm waiting a PC port for? Because if it is, then I think I'm just gonna miss out on that one. Yeah. On rails. Okay, that's kind of interesting, I guess.
Isaac, the marker needs to be returned to the pedestal chamber. Use the loader to bring it there and place it on the pedestal. Replace what was taken and make us whole again.
Okay, not much going on in the beginning of this chapter. Just one divider and some infectors chilling around, being harmless. This level is like... It's one fight, really. One fight and a couple of annoying guardians. And if it's on rails, then I might be able to enjoy it. I just... At this point, it's like impossible for me to enjoy playing any kind of shooter on a controller. Which is why I didn't play this game until very recently. But yeah, this fight takes actually forever. Luckily it's a pretty easy fight. All the spawns are set, so if you have any idea where the enemies are gonna be, you'll be just fine. Plus they can only approach you from 2 directions, so it's... Even if you don't really know, it's easy. Yeah, I'd really like to have Severed on PC. I mean, I know nothing about it, except that the speedrun is like... less than 30 minutes. Like, yes please, I would like to have a Dead Space speedrun. That doesn't take 2 or 3 hours. I would run that. Yeah, I mean, at this point, apparently Dead Space 3 is an okay speedrun. It's like... I know some of the other Dead Space runners were really happy that, hell yeah, we finally have a Dead Space speedrun that's less than 2 hours! And it just happens to be Dead Space 3. Like... Okay. It's a small victory, I guess. Oh yeah, in case you haven't figured out, because there's like nothing to say about this final chapter of the game, at least so far. You carry the marker. It takes weeks. It's not fun. Especially when you have these 2 fucking guardians. Fuck 'em. I'm not even going for insta-kills here, because it's just so inconsistent. Just throwing out a few mines and seeing what happens. I mean, I got most of the tentacles, so I just decided to roll with it. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to kill those guys quickly, and it just seemed like there isn't a consistent way, unfortunately. For most of the Guardians, you could figure out some sort of setup, but these 2, just not happening, sadly. Okay, here's the biggest sequence break in the game coming right up. Are you ready? Are you ready? Here. There. Holy shit. Saving actual minutes. Also, this is great. That was good. But yeah, using that switch from the wall messes up with the triggers of the rest of the level. And no enemies are gonna spawn until the very end. And it also skips a lengthy cutscene. At this point, I'm not sure if I'm making the right call. And I decided to make a different call, it seems. Never mind, I don't know what I'm talking about. But at the end of this level, you have to commit suicide to make the final boss spawn. So I was kind of okay with being low on health, but then I changed my mind when I saw that I'm walking slowly. So instead I'm just killing myself with the line gun. So I can keep walking fast for a bit longer. Yeah, there should be a decently big fight in this room, but because of that sequence break, no enemies are spawning. I can just move on. It's a bad Dead Space game, but not a bad action game. It's possible. It's possible. Maybe I'll play it one day. So I just checked my inventory and realized I have like no ammo for the pulse rifle. That's important for later on. Yeah, right here there's supposed to be a long cutscene once the marker reaches the end. But most of it is skipped because things are broken. Also enemies. And then they die.
Thank you, Isaac. I always believed in you. I knew you'd return. We are whole again, Isaac.
And that's a questionable call by me. I think it probably worked out. But by damaging myself right there, I now walk a bit slower. But there is very little walking left in the game, and I still need to commit suicide at the end. So most of this walking is done on shit. So I'm gonna walk slowly anyway. Was it the right call? I don't know. But it's the call I went with. And this is also a questionable call, because I did end up picking up a fair bit of ammo in this final section. But I decided to go do a quick shopping trip at the end. Just to make sure I have enough ammo to actually kill the boss. How did you skip Kendra talking? Hitting the switch on the wall earlier in the level messes up the triggers. Like, this whole level is quite busted. And final save. And just final boss fight left. Then we're done with this game, and I'm probably never gonna run it again. Or maybe I'll do like one run at some point in the distant future. Rest in peace, Isaac. Holy shit, what the fuck is happening with her hair? I did not notice that while recording. Holy fuck! Splat. Fun fact about this. When I made the tracker for... I suicided because the boss won't spawn otherwise. But yeah, I made the trackers to check how much health Necromorph has and how much health a Brute has and things like that. And the game reuses those addresses for different health values. And one of those addresses that I was tracking gets reassigned to Kendra at this section. So if I have the tracker open, I can see the exact moment when Kendra's health goes from 300 to 0. Oh yeah, here I'm doing a bit of damage to the first two, but not destroying them, so I can kill them faster in the next section. Also, when the explosion happens and the hive mind falls back, the weak point isn't actually destroyed. It takes one more bullet for that to happen. That was fun to figure out. Like, let's see if it happens with these. Yeah. No, didn't happen there. Can I please get the second one? Yes, I could. Excellent. No, I couldn't. It didn't explode. Yeah, there you see. I had to shoot it once more. And I'm not sure what causes it, but I'm guessing it's if you can destroy one of the secondary weak points in the stomach. But part of the fight is that there's supposed to be a spawn of 2 pregnants that you're supposed to fight. And that's by far the hardest part of the fight, but most of the time you just skip that whole section. And I'm guessing it's because you do enough damage. Like, early on, something. I don't know. Is this world record? Yes, it is! Yes, in fact it is. It is the record for Dead Space Impossible Mode, segmented, new game. No DLC, no power node dupe, no cheating. It's quite specific. But it is the record. Yeah, I should probably reset right about now. I'm not actually doing damage, I'm just shooting for the hell of it. Because exciting boss battle, and the run is about to be over. Woo! Come on! I got this, maybe. Yeah! Yeah, boy! We did it. And the audio is still fine. Excellent, thank you. And timing ends there. We did it! If anybody ever wants to run Dead Space on Impossible, now you know what run to look when you want to copy strats. Because this is the only one that doesn't use bullshit. And I think the final time was about 2:43. 2 hours 43 minutes. Was it like 56 seconds? I may misremember. But the timing is like from when the first load screen ends to when what I just said. And the in-game time is like, well, we'll see soon, 2:30 something. The in-game time is not accurate, so never mind that. When sub 2, when someone finds some actual good strats for this game. Like, if anybody manages to go through a wall or a door, let me know. I'm in. I want to run this, but not like in its current state. It's too long. Spooky. So spooky. Yeah, although, honestly, I mean, not even if you could figure out a way to go through a wall or something, I'm not sure the areas would load. I'm not super optimistic. Also, I unlocked impossible mode! Can you believe it? I just beat the game on impossible, but it doesn't stop the game from unlocking it again. So in-game time, 2:36:41. Woo!